Since ancient times, cows have been an integral part of Irish culture. Cows were seen as members of the family, a way to measure wealth and kingship, and were essential to the welfare of many families. At the same time, cows and milk were both thought to be highly sensitive to mystical and occult forces, benign and malign. Thus, there exist many stigma, superstitions, rituals, and practices related to cows and milk. Since cows are so imperative for survival, for many families, there exists a different stigma regarding what color cows to choose and how to take care of them. Black and white cows are said to produce good color for milk, but can be very cross, whereas red cows are quiet, but not as a good choice for milk or calving. When shelters were being built for cows, a cat's head would be placed in the middle of the building in order to ensure plentiful milk and healthy cows. Milk was often associated with success. There have been accounts of newborn infants being bathed in milk. Saint Bridget, for example, who was said to have been bathed in milk as sort of a prefiguration of the saint's chastity. In different parts of Ireland, children of wealthy parents would be immersed 3 times in milk, and the milk would be disposed of in drains or other unclean places. The association between milk and success led to this custom. However, this custom is not to be seen as a replacement for an actual baptism. It is in and of itself its own secular practice. New milk, also known as bee stings or beestlings, is the first and freshest milk from a cow after calving. It is especially precious because it is thought to hold many different magical properties. It is thought to hold great benefits, like healing properties, as it has a strong smell and flavor, and is especially rich in nutrients and antibodies.
In the burning of Bridget Cleary, herbs were boiled in new milk and force-fed to her in an attempt to ascertain whether or not she was really Bridget Cleary. New milk is particularly attractive to fairies, so they were hoping to be able to draw out the fairy that had taken Bridget Cleary's body. Fairies like new milk so much that they may steal cows if a proper offering of new milk is not poured into their fairy forts. Milk and butter were not coveted by fairies alone. Neighbors, wizards, and witches have multiple ways of stealing milk. May Eve is infamous for milk theft, as it falls exactly opposite on the calendar to Halloween. Wells need to be watched on May Eve because there's the possibility that wizards or other thieves may emerge from the wells during this time to steal milk. Stories have been told about milk witches sending hares to suck the milk from cows at night. Should this occur, the hare must be shot only to injury, and one must follow the hare to the house it flees to, where he will find an old woman bleeding in the same spot that the hare was injured. To kill the milk witch, the hunter must use a bullet made from the silver of a 6-pence coin, and then the milk will be returned to the cows. There are also stories of certain women having the ability to steal butter. On the morning of the first day of May, these women would gather bits of dirt from the slit in the hooves of their neighbors' cows and run away with it. This would give them the yield of milk and butter from their neighbors' cows. Since May Eve has so many potential ways for milk and butter to be stolen, there are multiple precautions that people follow. Wisps of hay and straw being burned near the cattle, making sure not to take any milk products, or fire out of the house during the churning of the butter, and tying red string to the tails of the cattle are just a few ways people prevented theft. Not only are there precautions to take to prevent milk theft, but also there are rituals to ensure high yield. Some farmers in Golden Vale and in the hills of Tipperary would stir milk with the dried hand of a corpse before churning to increase the yield of butter. Near Tulla, County Clare, the spell for a slow churning consisted in bringing a little of the milk to a well, saying the Lord's Prayer, making the sign of the cross above it, and pouring it into a hole made with the left heel, and going away at once without looking back apart from the Christian acts as an apparent offering to the fairies of the well, hoping that the offering would bring high yield. While the popularity of these practices may have faded over the years, the dependence on and importance of cows' milk and butter continues.